in the board minutes agreeing that River Terrace would take over that minor, because you all complained about it. So I wasn't going over there looking at it every day, and we wanted to make all of you happy. We tried a lot of things to make all of you happy, but never has we've been successful. So the problem is what it is. So we're still out an amenity for the community. Go ahead.
When an amenity becomes an eyesore and the community is complaining about it, it's time to do something.
The city is finding.
Speaking
right.
from as a resident of River Bend, every time I drove by it, it was just flowing over.
Right.
It didn't matter what day of the week it was, even when they came in, they took it the next day.
People were getting flat tires because there'd be nails from
I mean, I
overflow.
I agree that people misuse that, but for people who had to drive by it and for people who see it right directly from
It's
their
by a
windows,
gas station, there were flammables in it.
it's an obnoxious eyesore.
Yeah, Bruce, nobody's going to disagree with it. The problem
I'm
is
just stating a point, that's all.
And
So
it's a
basically
great
you're
point.
saying- So basically you're saying that this retroactive fine or repayment of fees is punishment.
No, it's not punishment. It's the cause of the harm. It's not punishment.
No, because
Okay.
you know, it's not harmful if the people now have gotten used to finding alternatives to
Yeah, we
take
have to
care
use
of
our
their
dumpsters.
refuse, whether it's construction.
Oh, you got it. Yeah, we have to have
We
five.
have to use our dumpsters for bulk,
Right.
and then that causes extra
Well,
pickups.
there's other options, because I know people in our building who have moved or have large items. They've called 1-800 got junk or some removal service for $100. Big truck comes.
What $100? Where is that?
We just rented one.
That's what they charge.
We emptied
But why should I pay
You're so
$100
stupid.
when I'm supposed to have a free
Yeah.
bulk pickup?
Because it didn't work.
So do you understand
It
the
didn't work.
bulk
Look at those pictures.
was removed and it wasn't done the
Well,
right way?
because
Well,
River
because
Terrace
we're
didn't
supposed
call
to
me.
remove
It was
it,
just
but
told.
it was-
Okay.
I mean, the day that things were removed, I mean,
All right. We're going to go in a circle. Let me give you a different way of looking at this. Your bike house over in River Terrace, it gets broken into, I understand, relatively a lot.
unfortunately.
So that's really a community nuisance.
Right.
And I also happen to have a video that one of the residents sent me, that where they're seeing somebody trying to break into it, like in the middle of the night. So that is a community nuisance. Would you like to remove it, the bike house?
Would be something to consider.
Yeah, plus it also does not comply with the city ordinance, which we all know about. So I don't want to go there because that's tit for tat.
Well, that's yeah. And that's
Craig,
right.
Can I tell you really what the issue is? It's not, it's a community issue. It's not just blame one or blame another.
Right.
Okay, let him finish, so go finish, Vincent.
At one point, you wanted to sell the tennis courts to River Bend. That's an amenity.
No,
You wanted to get rid of that
we are
amenity.
not gonna start
You don't
taking
want to
from
get
the
rid of this
audience.
amenity.
You know what? For fairness, I'll answer that, but let me finish here. Okay, no, I'm going to be fair.
Okay.
Because I want to be fair. So, we cannot do things on our own. Unfortunately, there's a board involved, and there's an amenity involved. You just cannot take it away because it's an eyesore or whatever. The proper way, which was discussed in the board meeting, it was upset River Terrace. So we tried to make you happy, take control. All it required was a phone call and reimbursement every month. It wasn't a big deal. But nobody in River Terrace wanted to do that.
It was actually, it turned into a big deal.
We didn't want it.
And
Okay, wait a minute.
actually, the destruction or deconstruction of that both bin area included people from all three communities. I don't know exactly who was there.
Well, that's not when I went. Steve said, "Do you see?" And I went over there, and then I saw the two, both River Terrace residents, deciding to take the matter into their own hand. Also protected under D&O insurance.
But,
So
but you said nothing and you just stood there.
Well, what was,
Didn't say,
what
"Oh,
could
you
I
doing?"
say? It was half down, and how would I say, oh wait, we're gonna get a lawyer right now, don't stop, we're gonna get the lawyer, and then we're gonna stop this.
I don't know.
No, yeah, it doesn't work that way.
I wasn't involved.
So, yeah, I looked and I went, you know, call the cops, that would have been useless,
Okay.
because, you know, we have friends, you know.
All right.
So the problem is, the lesson in this is, it's a community, it was a community amenity. Some people decided to do on their own, rather than come to the board. There was an agreement in a prior board meeting where River Terrace agreed, if it was too full, call the city, I'll reimburse it through Middle River Club. There was no issue. They decided not to follow through. I'm sorry, but, you know, that's what was agreed to. We did it in a formal board meeting. So as a result, when that thing disappeared in its entirety, guess what? There was harm done.
And when you said you didn't want anything to do with it, when you got that letter.
Okay,
you gave
okay.
us the-
Okay, we're gonna get to you in a minute, because I want to address the tennis court in a second.
Yeah, 'cause
So,
like you
we
said,
gotta
we're
get
having
this
discussion
done.
amongst
So,
the board.
we're in a circle.
Yeah.
So, I've explained it now 3 times. So, the board can make a decision where they want to go. Do you want the reimbursement? And again, if they have to file a lawsuit, you know, there's insurance for that. So,
At some point, we're gonna have to discuss replacing it.
correct, because, correct.
That's the big thing.
It's a problem. I mean, it's a,
So we need to be reimbursed. So I vote yes, we need to be reimbursed.
so there's a motion for reimbursement. Is there a second?
Absolutely not. I mean, this is not a problem for Riverbend, it hasn't been in a while.
Okay,
I'm not voting for it.
okay. Bruce is no. Fred, there's a motion, so I need a second. Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
Peg is the second. We've discussed it now, so there's a board vote. Craig?
No.
No. Bruce? No. Peg?
Yes.
Yes. Fred?
Yes.
Yes.
Surprise, surprise.
Thank you. Would you like to vote for me?
No.
Yes. Tony, yes.
I like going.
So you're always free. You have legal counsel. I'm sure it'll be a conversation.
No, I'm just saying, and I'd like to, you know, just say, actually, the comments are not really that helpful at this point. We're trying to discuss as a board some of these topics, and we're trying to stay focused on that. And like we said in the beginning of the meeting, questions will be answered at the end of the meeting. It's really not helpful to have interjections from here, every angle, whatever. I know you all have thoughts on this, or your take on it, or whatever, but to keep an eye on the time and not belabor one item on the agenda, we need to move forward. So I think we've talked about this enough. There's information out there for those who want more information about it in written form or videotape, or however you want to learn more about the situation. And next item.
Okay, but in order to be fair to Vincent, because he made a comment that's not quite accurate. So it's no secret Riverbend has very limited parking. It's been said many times. So
You can't hear it.
oh yeah, they can hear me, yeah. So it's also been commented the tennis court is not used very much. The board cannot get rid of an amenity. However, it can go before a vote before the people. I'm not an attorney. It would be the attorney would have to draw up all the paperwork. The question was asked to Riverbend, would you be interested? Bruce answered no. That was the end of the conversation. The board cannot remove an amenity from the community. I presume, I think it's logical, if the community were to vote, I guess it's 50%, but the lawyer would have to figure it out. I don't figure this nonsense out. To move forward with it, to see if that would help them. Does the community really play the tennis court, use the tennis? Well, not really. A few do, but is it worth it? So it wasn't me or us making a decision about it. It was to put it out there to try and appease or help Riverbend. They said no, no problem. So we move forward. But there was no removing it from the board. We can't do that. Okay. So I hope that's been explained. Then item number 3, special assessment remaining pool costs of the 17,000. We have enough money, it's been paid. You know, we could just waive it, we don't need the money in the account. But it's up to you, if you want to assess for it, it's on there. You know, the pool needed,
What was the final cost of the?
I sent you all that entire, with the spreadsheet and all the backups. So let me see, I have it here. Hold on a minute. 87,546.62.
To redo this?
And the pool and the deck,
deck.
and the sides and the whole, and then
Why didn't they do the piece that goes out to the dock?
it wasn't in part of, no, it's all right. It wasn't part of the original. It hasn't been done for 50 years. It could always be done by a different board. This one's not doing it. So it's a great question, but that's the way it was.
It looks haphazard.
Yeah, maybe if it was power washed.
Yeah.
I just have a question. The money that, I'm glad that we have extra money to be able to do that and not have a special assessment. Where does that come from? Is that from a pool fund or is that from a surplus?
No,
somewhere?
remember, a budget is a guesstimate.
Right.
So fortunately, we didn't spend it. You know, you also need a little cushion. But like I can give you, just happened yesterday, gate 3 is broken. So I got a proposal for $6,500 to fix it. I said, see, because I don't know much, I said, that sounds like a lot of money. So I spoke to Steve, he had a contact, he found the contact. I think the gate's gonna cost like under $5,000 to fix, so we're gonna save $1,500. So it's that kind of stuff of called working together rather than independently that saves money. And fortunately, over many years, the maintenance has gone down here for Middle River Club, but of course now it's gone up because of the insurance. So those things will be changing once I'm done, Jesus soon please, with this. All right? Okay. So is the board going to let this go or something? We don't need to, we're in good shape?
Yeah, I make a motion that we don't have to have a special assessment. We use the funds that were allotted.
Peg,
I second.
Craig, and the board is in agreement?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Fred, Tony, yes.
Do we know how much we have?
Right now, there's 22 in the account, so take off the bonuses and, you know, we got something going forward, so we're okay.
Okay, just
Yeah.
not down to 0.
No.
Who's the treasurer on the board? Tony. Tony's the treasurer.
Yeah.
Who's the treasurer?
I think he's the president.
The president? No, he's not.
Okay, number 4. This has come up over many years, what we could do to bring peace and harmony in the community, because it's very clear there's a resentment of the fact River Shores has 3 votes. And, you know, I can say the 3 of us, and even before Fred or Peg, or since I'm around, we have to kind of get along because we're a community. We don't always have to like something, but when something's explained and the why, it's generally respectful. Still may not like it, but at least to see that point of view. It's been noticed over many years, regardless of explaining and the why, some people just don't like it. So when we do things, we do our very best to look at the wide point of view. So for instance, I mentioned just a little bit ago, when I got up there 14 years ago, the budget I think was $121,000. Well, we did projects, and then later years, we were able to reduce the budget, which is unheard of. But the point is, when the budget is raised, we all pay, and when the budget, you know, we all benefit from the lower fees, right? Over these last years, and it started with Mr. Anderson from River Bend, he decided to grandstand and cause a lot of grief. His legal right when he was a representative to the Middle River Club. And we got a professional manager. Well, Peg and I basically had to deal with the manager when he didn't want to do something. We offered to take over the administration to both buildings, River Terrace and River Bend. You don't trust, why don't you do it? Here it is. Nobody wanted to do it. We did so many things. I mean, talking up in the office, inviting, sit down, let's get this resolved, and then, a week or so later, we went right back where we were. What happened, Mr. O'Brien and the legal counsel for River Terrace decided to come up, I think in May, if I remember right, to review the Middle River Club records. Now, it's highly unusual to bring an attorney, but you're entitled certainly to do that. And in the course of that conversation, Mr. O'Brien mentioned that, well, River Shores always has 3 votes. Well, we didn't write the condo docs, and I explained this to the attorney, and he understood all this. It's nothing personal, it's nothing nefarious, it's just we didn't write it. That's what they are. But rather than resent this all the time in every way possible, if you really want the 3 votes, well, River Shores, I asked Craig, we spoke about a couple of weeks ago or something, why have the resentment? Get the 3 votes, but with that, take the 63%. And when you average it out, it's only like $7 a day. So what price for peace and harmony? And then River Terrace would run, they want to spend $300,000 out front. Great, you do that. Then River Shores would just pay 21%, we'd have nothing to say. But the issue, forgetting the money, and though the money is important, the issue is we have to try and get along. What will make you happy? So whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent, of course, the attorney would have to be involved. But the first step would be, would River Terrace consider doing that? And Craig, off the cuff, said no. They would not.
It still stands.
It still stands. So then we're left with 2 other alternatives. We had an attorney from K. Bender attend one of the board meetings several years ago. And at that point, what happened in trying to get along, I think it was Peg and Sean from River Bend were the signers on the bank account to show, that there was nothing wrong or whatever, to let River Bend see what was going on. Well, when Sean didn't like something, he just wouldn't sign the check. Well, if the board voted on something and Sean didn't like it, it's not the way we conduct business. Then a few years ago, we couldn't have board meetings because what was required for the quorum was one of the 2 buildings. So when they didn't like something, they just didn't show up. So we couldn't do business. And the problem is, it's what else can we do? What else? Well, we can't do much other than what we've tried. So this was the last ditch effort. So when the attorney came that one Middle River Club board meeting, he said to us, River Shores, you gave your power away, take it back. So that's what we have to do then. Then it is how, ultimately, if you don't like it, oh well. We had to change the condo doc so we can hold a board meeting when it was necessary. So we've done everything we can. It just is the way they're written. It's not about like or dislike. The attorney seemed to understand. I don't think Bill and River Terrace fully understand this because it's still, you have 3 votes. We can't help it. That's the way they're written. So, rather than get upset and be angry over it, we have to accept what is, but how do we get past the resentment? So, well, you have 3 votes. Well, that's the way they're written. So the only other 2 way is, we have, of course, all to say, The only other way I see it changing is River Terrace and River Bend need to stick their nose in River Shore's business when it comes election time and put up candidates who are willing to run for the River Shore's board to appoint different reps who are more friendly to River Bend and River Terrace, who will do whatever, you know, if you want to spend $300,000 or $200,000 out front, they'll say, oh, no problem, and River Shores will pay the 63%. That's the issue. So then we're just going to table this, and we understand where we're at, and if the board wants to discuss this any further,